Many celebrities have walked down the aisle more than once over the years. While the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's National Center for Health Statistics suggest a rise in marriages and a slight dip in divorces, most relationships often stray from fairy tale endings. Despite their glamorous lives, celebrities face the same trials in love as everyone else, whether being stuck in less than ideal situations, evolving beyond their spouse, or leading opposite lives. Yet some take multiple spins at marriage in hopes of finding lasting love. What I can teach my children is that real love exists, Jennifer Lopez, a 4-time bride. Some things can be forever, but it doesn't mean they just have a straight line. From Elizabeth Taylor's 8 marriages to 7 men to Nicolas Cage's 5 divorces, here are the stars who've said "I do" 4 or more times. Jennifer Lopez. Number of marriages: 4. When it comes to saying "I do," Lopez has been around the block 4 times. After her 11-month union to actor Ojani Noah ended in 1998, the Love Don't Cost a Thing singer and Shotgun Wedding star married backup dancer Chris Judd in 2001 before divorcing in 2003. She was then married to actor and singer Mark Anthony, with whom she shares 2 children, Emmy and Max, for a decade before the pair finalized their divorce in June 2014. Upon rekindling their relationship, which first transpired in the early aughts, Lopez and actor Ben Affleck wed in an intimate ceremony in July 2022. "I feel so lucky and happy and proud to be with him," she told People. "It's a beautiful love story that we got a second chance." However, the love story was not meant to last. In August 2024, after months of marital strain, Lopez filed for divorce. Ben Folds' number of marriages: 5. Singer-songwriter Ben Folds has been married and divorced 5 times. His first marriage was to his childhood sweetheart, songwriter Anna Goodman, which lasted from 1987 to 1992. He was then married to Kate Rosen from 1996 to 1997, musical artist Frally Hines, with whom he shares twins Lewis and Gracie, from 1999 to 2006, and Fleur Stanbrook from 2007 to 2011. In 2017, Folds married former Royal Ballet dancer Emma Sandel, and the pair divorced after 6 years of marriage in February 2024. Jim Edmonds' number of marriages: 4. The former professional baseball center fielder Jim Edmonds and realtor Courtney O'Connor tied the knot in September 2022 in front of 32 guests at the Giardino del Mosaico, a 19th-century villa in Lake Como, Italy. "The best part of the wedding is I now get to spend the rest of my life with Courtney," Edmonds told People. "For the first time in my life, I finally understand true happiness." He was previously married to the Real Housewives of Orange County's Leanne Horton, who died of cancer in July 2015, and to Allison Jane Raskey, in a marriage that lasted from 2008 to 2014. He had 2 kids each from both relationships. Edmonds' third marriage was to Meghan King, which was showcased on the Real Housewives of Orange County. The 2 married in 2014 and split in 2019. They share 3 kids, twin boys Hardin Hayes and daughter Aspen. Nicolas Cage, number of marriages: 5. Cage was married to Patricia Arquette from 1995 to 2001. He followed that up with a short-lived union with Lisa Marie Presley, whom he married in 2002 and filed for divorce just a few months later. The actor was then married to Alice Kim from 2004 to 2016, with whom he shares a son named Kal-El. In 2019, he married makeup artist Erica Koike, but requested a divorce just 4 days after their Las Vegas elopement. The marriage was annulled 2 months later. He surprised fans on March 5, 2021, when news broke he'd wed for a 5th time. The actor and girlfriend Rico Shibata quietly tied the knot on February 16, 2022, in a small ceremony at the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. In September of that same year, they welcomed a daughter named August, Cage's 3rd child. He also shares a son, Weston, with his ex-girlfriend Christina Fulton. "I'm really happily married," he told the Los Angeles Times in 2022. "I know 5 is a lot, but I think I got it right this time." Zsa Gabor number of marriages. 9. Zsa Gabor leads the pack of stars who have been married the most. She married Turkish politician Burhan Asaf Belge in 1935 and divorced him in 1941. She was then married to Hilton Hotels founder Conrad Hilton from 1942 to 1947. Next was actor George Sanders from 1949 to 1954, then investment banker Herbert Huttner, with whom she tied the knot in 1962. 6 days after splitting from Hunter on March 3, 1966, she married Joshua S. Cosden Jr., whom she divorced in 1967. She wouldn't marry again until she wed designer Jack Ryan in 1975. The pair divorced on August 24, 1976, and she married Michael O'Hara on August 27, followed by another divorce in 1983. Then came her short-lived marriage to actor Felipe de Alba from April 13, 1983 to April 14, 1983, which was annulled because her divorce was not yet finalized. Finally, she wed Frederick Prince von Anhalt in 1986. The pair were together until she died at age 99 in 2016. In 2021, von Anhalt traveled to her birthplace of Budapest to bury her ashes. That's what she wanted, and that's what she had in her last will, he told Reuters in 2021. She definitely wanted to be in Budapest because her father is buried here too. Jennifer O'Neill number of marriages. 9. Jennifer O'Neill was married 9 times to 8 men, the first of whom, Dean Rossiter, she wed in 1965 at just 17. They divorced in 1971, and the actress married her second husband, Joseph Koster, a year later. Following the couple's separation in 1974, O'Neill was married to Chippendales choreographer Nick DeNoia, who also served as her manager and was not out at the time, from 1975 until their divorce in 1976. 2 years later, she married singer Jeff Barry, whom she divorced in 1979. Later that year, the actress married John Lederer, though the couple split in 1983. 3 years later, she married Richard Allen Brown, and they divorced in 1989. Her next husband was actor Neil L. Bonin, whom she married in 1992. The marriage was annulled a year later. In 1993, she remarried her ex-husband Brown, but the pair divorced again 3 years later. Since 1996, she has been married to record producer Mervyn Sidney Luke, Jr. Mickey Rooney number of marriages, 8. To sum up his love life, Mickey Rooney joked to people in 1993, "Weddings? I've been to a lot of them." The actor's first of 8 marriages was to actress Ava Gardner in 1942, which ended in 1943. He then married Betty Jane Phillips in 1944, with whom he had 2 children, and they divorced in 1949. Shortly thereafter, he was wed to model Martha Vickers from 1949 to 1951. He followed that up by marrying actress Elaine Mankin a year later, whom he divorced in 1958. In 1958, Rooney married actress Barbara Ann Thomason, who was murdered in 1966 by a stuntman and actor whom she had been having an affair with. Rooney married his late wife's best friend, Marge Lane, but the pair divorced after just 100 days together. He was then married to Carolyn Hockett from 1969 to 1975. In 1978, he wed singer Jan Chamberlain, and the pair remained married until he died in 2014, though they had separated in 2012 due to Rooney alleging elder abuse by Chamberlain's son, Christopher Aber. When people asked Rooney in 1993 if he'd marry all these women again, he said, "Absolutely, I loved every one of them." Larry King number of marriages, 8. Larry King was married 8 times to 7 women, beginning with a high school sweetheart in his late teen years until his wife, Shawn Southwick, from whom he was estranged at the time of his death. "I got married a lot. In my head, I'm not a marrying guy," the late icon told People in 2020. "When I grew up, nobody lived together. If you fell in love, you got married, and so I married the ones that I loved. But what I loved at 20 is not what I loved at 30, and what I loved at 30 is not what I loved at 40. In 1952, King married Frida Miller, but their marriage was allegedly annulled by their disapproving parents. Then, King was married to Annette K for less than 1 year in 1961. That same year, he married Aline Atkins for the first time, and the pair divorced in 1963. He wed Mickey Sutphin in 1964, but she divorced him 2 years later in 1967. He married Atkins again in 1968, and the pair split in 1971. In 1976, he married Sharon Lepore, though the pair divorced in 1983. 6 years later, King married Julie Alexander, but the pair separated in 1990 and divorced in 1992. In 1997, he and Southwick tied the knot, and the pair were together until King filed for divorce in 2019. The two were amid divorce proceedings when King died in January 2021. Elizabeth Taylor number of marriages: 8. Known for her impressive number of marriages, Taylor was married to 7 men and had 8 weddings. She was just 18 when she married hotel heir Conrad Hilton Jr. in 1950, but the pair divorced 8 months later. In 1952, she wed actor Michael Wilding, who was 20 years her senior, and the pair announced their separation in 1956 and were divorced in 1957. 1 month after her divorce was finalized, Taylor married theater producer Mike Todd, who passed away tragically in a plane crash in 1958. 1 year later, following a scandalous affair, she married singer Eddie Fisher, who had been married to her friend Debbie Reynolds. They divorced in 1964, and Taylor married frequent co-star Richard Burton 10 days later. They divorced for the first time 10 years later in 1974, only to remarry in 1975 and split for a final time in 1976. She then married former U.S. Senator John Warner in 1976, a relationship that ended with their 1982 divorce. She married her 8th and final husband, Larry Fortensky, in 1991, and they divorced in 1996. She died at age 79 in 2011. Lana Turner was married 8 times. In 1939, the classic Hollywood beauty eloped with composer Artie Shaw, a relationship that lasted only 4 months. In 1942, she married actor Joseph Stephen Crane, then had their marriage annulled in 1943 when she found out that he was not really divorced from his wife, Carol Ann Kurtz. They remarried when Turner discovered she was pregnant with their daughter, but they divorced in 1944. Turner married socialite Henry J. Topping Jr. in 1948, and they divorced in 1952. A year later, she married actor Lex Barker, and they divorced in 1957. Then followed marriages and divorces to businessman Fred May, 1960 to 1962, former CEO of Chrysler Corporation Robert Eaton, 1965 to 1969, and hypnotist Ronald Dante, 1969 to 1972. She remained unmarried until her death in 1995. Richard Pryor number of marriages: 7. Richard Pryor made it to the altar 7 times, marrying and remarrying a few of his exes. He was first married to Patricia Price in 1961, though the union only lasted 1 year. In 1967, he married Shelley Bonus, but they divorced in 1969. In 1977, he married actress Deborah Maguire, and the pair divorced the following year. Pryor was then married to Jennifer Lee from 1981 to 1982. In 1986, Pryor married actress Flynn Belaine, divorcing her in 1987 and giving it another go from 1990 to 1991. In 2001, Pryor again married Jennifer Lee, and they were married until his death in 2005. "I did return in the summer of '94, and we eventually remarried," Lee recalled to People in March 2019. Richard kept apologizing for some of the things that he'd done. He kept saying, "Jennifer, I hurt you. I was horrible to you, and I can't tell you how sorry I am." There you've got a man sick, sitting in a wheelchair, shadow of his former self, dealing with his life and looking back, happy to deal with it. He came to terms with it, and so did I. Rue McClanahan number of marriages: 6. Rue McClanahan was married enough times that she wrote the book on it. No, really, she wrote the 2008 memoir First 5 Husbands and the Ones Who Got Away. The Golden Girls actress was married to Tom Bish from 1958 to 1959, actor Norman Hartweg from 1959 to 1961, and Peter DeMeo from 1964 to 1971. In 1976, she married Sam Gussie Fisher, but their marriage ended in 1979. After McClanahan married Tom Keel in 1984, the pair divorced in 1985. She wouldn't marry again until 1997 when she wed actor Maura Wilson, and the two remained together until she died at age 76 in 2010. Billy Bob Thornton. Number of marriages, 6. From 1978 to 1980, Billy Bob Thornton was married to Melissa Lee Gatlin, with whom he had a daughter, Amanda Brumfield. He then wed Tony Lawrence from 1986 to 1988. In 1990, he tied the knot with Cinda Williams, but their marriage ended 2 years later. Thornton also shares 2 sons with former Playboy model Pietra Dawn Cherniak, whom he was married to from 1993 to 1997. Following his divorce from actress Angelina Jolie in 2003, Thornton welcomed a daughter named Bella with Connie England, whom he dated for 12 years before they tied the knot in 2014. Gary Oldman. Number of marriages, 5. Gary Oldman, who has been married to writer Giselle Schmidt since 2017, has a few marriages under his belt. He was previously married to actress Leslie Manville, with whom he shares their son Alfie from 1987 to 1990, and then actress Uma Thurman from 1990 until 1992. Oldman married model Doña Fiorentino in 1997, and the pair welcomed 2 sons before they divorced in 2001. In 2008, he tied the knot with singer and actress Alexandra Edinburgh, a union that ended with their 2015 divorce. David Foster. Number of marriages, 5. Before marrying Catherine McPhee in 2019, the pair welcomed a child in 2020. David Foster was previously married to singer B.J. Cook from 1972 to 1981, Rebecca Dyer from 1982 to 1986, songwriter Linda Thompson from 1991 to 2005, and former model Yolanda Hadid from 2011 to 2017. In March 2024, the father of 6 told People, "Marriage is a moving target, as you probably know," adding that his 5th marriage with McPhee doesn't have any hard and fast rules. Rita Hayworth. Number of marriages, 5. Rita Hayworth was married to promoter Edward C. Judson from 1937 to 1942, before her marriage to director Orson Welles from 1943 to 1947. After their split, the Hollywood starlet married socialite Prince Ali Khan in 1949, though the pair divorced in 1953. Shortly thereafter, Hayworth married actor Dick Haymes, and the pair divorced following a public altercation in which Haymes struck Hayworth in 1955. She married producer James Hill in 1958, but filed for divorce in 1961. She died in 1987. Pamela Anderson. Number of marriages, 6. Pamela Anderson married Mötley Crüe drummer Tommy Lee in 1995 after knowing him for just 96 hours. The pair separated in 1998 after having 2 kids together. Anderson married musician Kid Rock in July 2006, but the pair broke up that November. Later that year, the Baywatch alum married professional poker player Rick Salomon, but had the marriage annulled less than 6 months later. Anderson and Salomon remarried in 2014, only to divorce a few months afterward. In January 2020, Anderson secretly wed movie producer Jon Peters, only for the pair to announce their split 2 weeks later and confirm they were never legally married. On Christmas Eve 2020, Anderson married bodyguard Dan Hayhurst, but People later confirmed the pair had split after 1 year of marriage. During a February 2023 appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, host Jimmy Kimmel asked Anderson whether she may get married again. "God, what a crazy question," Anderson said. "I don't know, I hope so. I still have a lot of life to live." Kenny Rogers. Number of marriages, 5. Kenny Rogers was married 5 times and had 5 children before he died at age 81. The late singer was married to his first wife, artist Janice Gordon, from 1958 to 1960. Then he was married to Jean Rogers from 1960 to 1963. He was next married to Margot Anderson from 1964 to 1976 and actress Marianne Gordon from 1977 to 1993. For the 5th and final time, he tied the knot with Wanda Miller in 1997. They were married for 22 years until his death. Joan Collins. Number of marriages, 5. Joan Collins' first husband was actor Maxwell Reed, whom she married in May 1952 and divorced in 1956. Then she was married to Anthony Newley from 1963 to 1971 and Ron Cass from 1972 to 1983. The Dynasty star next married Swedish singer Peter Holm in 1985, and the pair divorced in 1987. In February 2002, she married her fifth and current husband, Percy Gibson, who she told People in March 2002 is the most honorable man she's ever met. "I kissed a lot of frogs before I found my prince," Collins wrote in her 2011 memoir, The World According to Joan. For those women who are looking for a life partner, that old saying that men are like buses and if you wait long enough, the right one will come along is true for a reason. George Foreman, number of marriages, 5. Before he and Mary Joan Martelli tied the knot in 1985, famed boxer George Foreman was married to Adrienne Calhoun from 1971 to 1974, Cynthia Lewis from 1977 to 1979, Sharon Goodson from 1981 to 1982, and Andrea Skeet from 1982 to 1985. He has 5 sons, all named George, and 7. James Cameron, number of marriages, 5. James Cameron, known for blockbuster films like Titanic and the Avatar franchise, was married to his first wife, Sharon Williams, from 1978 to 1984. Then he was wed to Gail Ann Hurd from 1985 to 1989. Later that year, the filmmaker married director Kathryn Bigelow, though they would divorce in 1991. In 1997, he married Linda Hamilton, though the pair separated in 1999. Since 2000, Cameron has been married to former model and actress Susie Amiz. Being attracted to strong, independent women has the downside that they're strong, independent women. They inherently don't need you, he told The Guardian in August 2017. "Fortunately, I'm married now to a strong, independent woman who does believe she needs me." Martin Scorsese, number of marriages, 5. Director Martin Scorsese married his first wife, Lorraine Marie Brennan, in 1965, and the pair split in 1972. In 1977, he divorced author Julia Cameron after 1 year of marriage. He was then married to actress Isabella Rossellini from 1979 to 1982, and Barbara DeFina from 1985 to 1991. He has been married to Helen Morris, with whom he shares a daughter named Francesca, since 1999. "You make a family with a person like Helen," Scorsese told Talk magazine. "She's someone I want to be with. She's a companion. I learn a great deal from her." Billy Joel, number of marriages, 4. Billy Joel has been married 4 times, first to his former manager Elizabeth Weber from 1973 to 1982, and then to his Uptown Girl, Christy Brinkley, from 1985 to 1994. The Piano Man married chef Katie Lee in 2004, but the pair split in 2010. He and Alexis Roderick tied the knot at his estate in 2015 and have since welcomed 2 daughters, Della Rose and Remy Ann. Joel also shares a daughter, Alexa Ray, with Brinkley. Frank Sinatra, number of marriages, 4. Frank Sinatra had his fair share of marriages. From 1939 to 1951, he was married to his childhood sweetheart, Nancy Barbato, with whom he had 3 children. He then married Ava Gardner in 1951, divorcing 6 years later. In 1966, he married actress Mia Farrow, and the pair divorced in 1968, though she revealed to Vanity Fair in 2013 that they never really split up. He married Barbara Marx in 1976. They were together until his death in 1998. Melanie Griffith, number of marriages, 4. Melanie Griffith has said "I do" 4 times and stated she won't try for a 5th marriage. "I really don't think it's relevant for anyone anymore, but especially if you're 60 and you have 4 kids and you're living the life you've always wanted," she told InStyle magazine in August 2018. "Then why get married? It's like I would love to fall in love and have a romance, a relationship, but I haven't. I keep looking. I've had a couple of lovers but not a relationship." She was married to actor Don Johnson for 6 months in 1976 and followed up with a marriage to actor Stephen Bauer from 1981 to 1989. In 1989, she married Johnson again, and the pair stayed together until 1996. Later that year, Griffith married actor Antonio Banderas before the two split in 2015. Geena Davis, number of marriages. 4. Geena Davis has made the trip down the aisle 4 times. First to director-restaurateur Richard Emilo from 1982 to 1983, then to actor Jeff Goldblum in a short-lived marriage from 1987 to 1990, followed by director Renny Harlin from 1993 to 1998, and then surgeon Reza Jarahi, with whom she shares 3 children, from 2001 to 2017. Liza Minnelli, number of marriages. 4. Liza Minnelli has wed 4 times. The show-stopping actress's first marriage was to musician Peter Allen from 1967 to 1974, then to producer Jack Haley Jr. from 1974 to 1979, then to sculptor Mark Jarrow from 1979 to 1992, and to film producer David Guest from 2002 to 2007. Barbara Walters, number of marriages. 4. Before Barbara Walters died at 93 in December 2022, she was married 4 times to 3 different husbands. The legendary journalist's first marriage to Robert Henry Katz ended in 1955 after less than a year together. In 1963, she married theater producer Lee Goober, and the pair welcomed their daughter, Jacqueline Dana Goober, before divorcing in 1976. Walters then married TV producer Merv Adelson twice, first from 1981 to 1984, and again from 1986 to 1992. Christie Brinkley, number of marriages. 4. Brinkley has been married 4 times. Previous spouses include architect Jean-François Allot, 1973 to 1981, Joel, 1985 to 1994, real estate developer Richard Taubman, 1994 to 1995, and architect Peter Cook, 1996 to 2008. Though the supermodel entrepreneur remains open to another relationship, she told People in January 2024 that she's pretty comfortable with her life the way it is. She added, "I always said my whole life that I think that you have to be happy alone so that you get with a man for the right reasons, and you're not clinging to him because you need to, you know?" Lisa Marie Presley, number of marriages. 4. The only daughter of Elvis and Priscilla Presley, Lisa Marie married her first husband, musician Danny Keough, with whom she shared Riley Keough in 1988, splitting in 1996. Days later, she married music sensation Michael Jackson, though they would divorce that same year. Presley then married Cage in 2002, and the pair filed for divorce 3 months later. Their divorce was finalized in 2004. Presley married Michael Lockwood in 2006. Together, the pair had twin daughters, Harper and Finley, and divorced in 2016, before she died at age 54 in January 2023.